Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Palm Beach Confidential update. I have just got back home, been home about 12 hours. I was in Miami, and then from Miami, I had to fly back to Newark and then catch a connecting flight and then go to Vancouver on my birthday. But the good news is both trips were extremely fruitful, and we'll have some ideas coming out from that, and also got some just great new contacts with some folks that are doing some very interesting things in the space. So really looking forward to digging deeper into some of those relationships and into some of the ideas that I got exposed to while at both events, which we'll bring to you moving forward. Okay, so a few things I want to talk about. South Korea, volatility, and kind of where we are now and where I see things shaking out. You know, I was looking at the charts from January of last year, and we had, a very rough start to the beginning of the year last year, down about 30%. And then the broad cryptocurrency market really didn't do a lot between January and March. It just kind of faffed about, trying to figure out what to do. And I remember during that period of time, I just very similar to now, I got a lot of worried emails, because the market had been zooming and then slowed down, and people were like, is this the end? What's going on? We get so used to the market just going up that when it takes a breather, you get worried. And I would just suggest that this is normal action. You need pullbacks, and more importantly, you need sideways consolidation periods in order to set the stage for the next rally up. So last year, we had about a 3-month consolidation period. Now, I don't know how long this consolidation period will last. I mean, we might just start mooning right away or be in the doldrums for a little bit. But I would say that my best guess is that we'll probably continue to waffle around here a little bit. And I would say that the next major catalyst in terms of moving us out of this consolidation phase will probably be the consensus event in May in New York City, which is a major event, and it gets bigger every single year. And of course, I will be there. If you have the opportunity to go, I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic event. So generally around consensus, you get a lot of excitement, you get a lot of money coming to the market. So how do we navigate the kind of phase that we're in right now, which is it's more of the sideways phase? Well, this is a tremendous opportunity to really initiate positions in coins that if you're newer, you weren't able to initiate positions in. So we've had a few coins come into buying range. I've also raised the buy up to on a few coins. I mean, one coin in particular I'd like to single out is Dash. Dash is so incredibly cheap relative to its utility, its use case, and its ongoing use case. I watched Ryan Taylor give a talk in Miami, and they've got some phenomenal new projects coming up. They've got one with the DOE where they're doing a proof of concept integrating Dash into smart meters, which is, that's a major deal. I mean, just the fact that the DOE is even looking at Dash is a major deal. And so Dash is a cryptocurrency that can lull you into this false sense of that it's a boring crypto. It can go, just go sideways and sideways and sideways. You're like, oh my God, why am I in this Dash? Everything else is going crazy. And then all of a sudden, kind of people wake up to Dash, and then boom, it just doubles or triples, or last year went up 15x. That's just the way Dash moves. As long as I've been in it, that's kind of been, the par for the course with Dash. And so what I would say to you is that your biggest enemy in this space is boredom, right? If you look at your trading where maybe you've done your own thing, and you see where maybe you bought something and maybe you doubled, and maybe you made 50%, and you said, oh my goodness, everything else is going crazy. This thing's not doing anything. I'm going to get out and go look for the bigger, better thing. And then what happens? A month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, the thing you sold out of goes up 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x. I mean, it just has this major move. And there was nothing wrong with the underlying project other than that the price did not move in the time frame you wanted it to. And so what I would suggest is if you have projects you love and that make sense, and as long as nothing has changed negatively within the project, give the project time to grow. Give it time to gain greater adoption. Give it time to get their story out. Because otherwise you'll find yourself chasing from idea to idea to idea, losing money on transactions, losing money on bad ideas, when really all you needed to do was find a few great ideas, hold them, and just let them print wealth for you. And that's what we do in the long-term portfolio. In the short-term portfolio, of course, we do things a little bit differently. But in the long-term portfolio, these are ideas we absolutely love. These are ideas we've done a deep, deep dive on. These are ideas that we think are going to be here for the long term. Now, we're not going to get it right all the time, right? And that's why we use adequate position sizing, proper position sizing. And we have this broad base of names, and we leave them be. I mean, once they're in that long-term portfolio, we leave them be, and we let them just print wealth for us. And that's really been working for the last 2 years. And I think that will continue to work. Now, of course, at some point, we'll go into, right now we're in kind of this planting mode. And at some point, we'll go into a harvesting mode where we harvest not just into Bitcoin, but we harvest into fiat. But we're not there yet. It's too early. And of course, we're going to have to deal with volatility. That's the price pay to action when you're involved in cryptocurrencies. But so long as you have position sized properly and have a diverse holding of names, which we do, then you really shouldn't let the volatility get to you. I think the two most painful things in the cryptocurrency market are, one, when you sell a name prematurely and it moons. That's difficult. And I think the second is when you see the portfolio rise dramatically and you see, maybe you see your net worth go to $2 million, and then a week later it's at $850,000, and you're thinking, oh my God, why didn't I sell? And that's difficult to go through, and I can understand that, but it's absolutely necessary to go through that if you want to make massive gains. I'm talking about, life-changing, massive, massive, massive gains. You got to sit through that volatility. But if you do that, I think you're going to be extremely well rewarded. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things. Again, I want to welcome Chris Wood to our team. We are extremely lucky to have him. I've got Chris working on some great blockchain stuff, some blockchain ideas, and some blockchain ideas. When I was up in Vancouver, there were a couple of ideas there that I thought was super interesting that I passed on to Chris. So he's doing a deep dive on that, and hopefully in our next issue, maybe we'll have something for you stock buyers. Maybe we'll have something for you. Another thing I want to let you know is that My Ether wallet, which is one of the wallets we recommend to store your coins, doesn't always list all the ERC20 tokens that it supports. And just because it's not listed, it doesn't mean that it's not supported. If you go down to the right-hand side, it'll say Show All Tokens, and then you'll have to click and actually add your token to My Ether wallet. But your tokens are there, but you have to just manually select the tokens that you want to list in your wallet. Now, the other question we had is, we just recommended Syndicator. We had it as a short-term trade, which has done really well. And, I did a deeper dive and just saw this thing. So, this thing's amazing. Syndicator is legitimately amazing. I can't understand why this thing isn't $5 already. It's nuts to me because the quality of the signals that thing delivers, outside of a major hedge fund or major quant fund, you can't get access to that kind of data. It's just not possible. Nobody will give you that access. And the fact that we can get access to that is incredible. But, I bought Syndicator to speculate on the price of the coin. I think that guys like me in the past that, ran big funds and new guys coming into the market that run money, I think they're going to take a look at this. Maybe they'll read my report and they're going to say, oh my God, right? For $280,000, which is a million tokens, because syndicated is at 28 cents now, I can make 1.5% to 3% a day. No brainer. Guys, buy a million tokens. I think you're going to see that again and again and again take place throughout the world as fund managers come into this place. And what I love about Syndicator is it's not just crypto. You can trade S&P futures. You can trade oil, different kind of commodities. You got to understand, these commodity funds, they trade billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars. For them paying at the current price is $280,000 is a joke. They'll pay $5 million, $10 million, $20 million bucks. They'll pay virtually any amount of money that'll give them an edge in these highly competitive markets. And Syndicator gives you an edge, period, end of discussion. So I got a lot of questions. Tico, why didn't you include instructions and how to sign up for the Syndicator bot? And, why didn't you recommend to use the service? And I'll tell you why. You can absolutely use the service, but what happens is, and we had a chat about this internally, if I say, okay, go use the service, now all of a sudden I become an unintended representative of Syndicator, which I am not, and I don't want to be. And then two, our support team will get calls saying, well, tell me about this trade, tell me about that trade, how do I do this, how do I do that? And that's just not what we do. We don't provide support for other people's products. So I would suggest that if you are interested in using in staking Syndicator and getting access to their signals, they have an excellent FAQ site. Reddit, they have a very active Reddit channel that you can go to. There's a lot of videos that show you how to stake your coins and how to get access to that. But I didn't want to be in the position of where my support team has to answer questions about Syndicator trades. And hopefully you can understand that and understand my position on that. Okay, what else? Okay, so I've been home for about 12 hours, and I have to leave tomorrow. My wife hates me. I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow. Why am I going to Puerto Rico? I'm going to Puerto Rico to do some research for us about taxes. We had this major tax change last year where if you were in the United States, we were relying on every time we sold a cryptocurrency for another cryptocurrency, we could defer the tax liability under the 1031 like-kind exchange rule. Well, the new Tax Act came out and said like-kind exchange only applies to real property, which is real estate. So there's no more like-kind exchange. So every time you buy one crypto or sell one crypto and buy another crypto, that is a taxable event. And what this is causing is some of the whales in the space to start looking at moving offshore, because if everything's taxed at the short-term capital gains rate, and if you're in the top tax bracket, you're talking about 37, 38% taxes every time you do a trade, which is insane. So Puerto Rico has a tax treaty in place with the United States where if you move to Puerto Rico and become a resident there, I'm talking about a bona fide resident, you do not have to pay capital gains tax. And so what's happening now is a lot of big crypto players are moving to Puerto Rico. So I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow. I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks and just taking a look around. I'm going to be meeting some of the folks that have already moved down there. I want to see, how the island is after the hurricane, and just take a look and kind of report back to you, what's going on down there. But, if you're a really big crypto trader, or if you're, single, or you're flexible in terms of where you can work, and you're really involved in this space, Puerto Rico might be a really viable option for you. And so I think it definitely deserves a little bit more investigation. And so that's why I'm going down. Okay, friends, I think that is it. As always, I will tell you, please be rational. Markets move in their own time. They don't care what we own. They don't care what price we own it at. Still know that we are very early in the cycle. I know it doesn't feel that way. But remember what I talked about in the December issue. I talked about the difference between awareness and participation. Awareness for cryptocurrency is very high, but participation has not matched awareness yet. And I think that's going to be one of the big stories in 2018. We will see participation step up dramatically. And we're starting to see that now, but the current infrastructure can't handle it. So companies like Binance are only opening up for an hour to 2 hours a day, and they're getting, 250,000 people signing up in that time period. And then they're having to shut down because they just can't handle the influx of people that want to open up an account. And so I think this is going to continue through 2018. You're going to see places like Bittrex, Coinbase, and Binance get even better at the onboarding process. And, this is the year where we go from, kind of mainstream awareness to mainstream adoption. And that's going to be really cool for us because, we're in these names early. We're going to have an enormous amount of money coming into this market. And as we go into the latter part of 2018, I think we're going to just be making a ton of cash. All right, friends, that is enough out of me. I will catch up with you in the next video. And I want you to always remember, let the game come to you.